know, reel it back in, on the Living Like a Boss show, the first Living Like a Boss show here at Regina Sunshine Global Network. And we have been joined by two of our guests for the day, Mr. Robert Bassett, a.k.a. Class, and Dr. Norman Collins Sr. Welcome to the show, guys.
It's good to be here.
Good to be here.
Well.
It's really nice to be here.
Oh, you're so funny. Now, what's funny is you walked in here. I got to put you on blast, Class. You were on the show for the taste testing last week, and then came in and said you didn't know it was video.
Well, no, I knew it was a radio show, but then when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? No, this is good, because when I used to live here, I wore suits everywhere. You would never catch me not in a suit. Well, this is the first time you catch me not suited. And I explained to him that I lived in Hollywood for 18 years, and I watched how people got down over there, and it's like, you want to keep it real, you should keep it real, real. You know, when you talk, you should really talk, real talk. If you want to talk about the music business, the film business, you need to real talk to tell these people what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Because it's not all glamour and glitz.
Right.
You know, and people are just all caught up in the looks and the glamour and glitz that they're missing what really needs to be said to these people about, look, this is going to take a lot out of you to do this. You're going to have to dedicate your life to this.
Yes.
You know, when I got in the music business, you know, me and Swift were just recently talking. He used to be in my group called Brothers of the Same Mind, which we went on tour, Ice Cube, Run DMC, SWV, all that. And we had this conversation about, would you rather be a millionaire for a year and then fade out, or would you rather be a thousandaire for the rest of your life and still do what you love to do? And we both said a thousandaire. And then as the years went on, it's flipping, everything's reversing, where now I'm a filmmaker and I also do music, but I'm doing my thing where I see some of the people that I came up with, they gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are struggling, you know, credit card debt. You know, you remember Yo MTV Cribs where they had they were actually renting those houses. A lot of these people didn't even own this stuff. The labels, real different. So keeping it real, nobody really does that anymore. That was just back when we was doing it. It was about integrity in the music business. That's gone.
Yeah. Well, let's pause for a second and let our audience know who you are and what you do. And I was mentioning just the whole thing when you said, because you were here last week with your friend Paul Posey, who was a guest on the show.
Now that's the man.
And you got snatched up because we were doing a live food tasting. The food was amazing, right?
Yeah. Man, I'm hiring him too.
Yes, he was awesome. And so that's how we met.
Right.
So tell our audience, I guess, what you do right now.
Well, I'm a music producer. I own a record label, and I have a group. Actually, the production company and the group is called Hip Hop's Damage Control, because hip hop needs damage control.
Yeah.
Just like Rakim told me, he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. But I chose Hip Hop's Damage Control because it really needs repair. You know, I'm putting out positive music. If it's negative, I'm not touching. That's it. I've found my niche. I do metaphysical hip hop. I do meditation in my raps. You know, I do things that are uplifting because I went through depression. I went through suicidal thoughts. I went through all that stuff that everyone doesn't talk about.
Yes.
But now I have a platform to talk about things that people need help with. And I also do positive movies. So I shoot movies, I do music, I score films, you know. And to be a boss, you run your own thing. You don't answer to anybody. You do you. You're not kissing up to the studios to try to get your work out there. Yeah. You know, so.
Awesome. Well, we thank you for being here with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're so funny.
I'm also an actor, too. I've done a couple of movies.
Yeah, I think
Had
you
a
mentioned
TV
that.
show.
Yeah.
Did a bunch of stuff.
Multi-talented, right?
Yeah, well-rounded, well-rounded.
Dr. Norman Collins. I met you at, what is it, the Blue Rose Bistro?
The
I think
Blue-
that's
It was
that
Blue Rose, I think.
right down
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah.
you were a part of a live taping of a show that you were part of called,
Yeah,
what is it?
called Chop It Up.
Chop It Up.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away with you. And I wanted to meet you afterwards. And we met and we're actually collaborating on some stuff.
Yeah.
But before we talk about the
Yeah.
collaboration,
All right.
tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Norman Collins. I'm a native of Mississippi, in the Delta, northwest corner of Clarksdale, and I'm here by way of Raleigh, North Carolina. Moved here about 10 months ago, so I'm still learning Atlanta. Don't really know a whole lot of people here, or whatever, but currently working as what they call a skills development advisor and a work readiness facilitator with the city of Atlanta, trying to help individuals who are looking for work, getting them ready for work, teaching resume writing, interviewing skills, also coordinate a clothing closet for men, and we also connect with Dress for Success with women, and I also do motivational speaking and empowerment coaching, life coaching, or whatever you want to call it, because I mean bosses need help too.
Yes.
And I heard my brother speak about the struggle, you know, the mental health struggle, and I'm really big on that piece because a lot of us, you know, we think nobody has mental health, but everybody has mental health like we have physical health. It's just that when we break our leg, we'll go to the doctor, but our hearts get broken and we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a real thing with men, particularly black men. And so we keep it to ourselves, we internalize it, and before you know it, we'll end up imploding and then explode, and we have all of these unexplainable expressions because of all of these unexplainable issues that we have. You know, so I always say, what you don't deal with will deal with you.
Yeah. That's what's up. And so there is a collaboration in the works. You want to tell them now? You want to tell them at the end of the show? What you gonna do?
Well, I'm going to tell because I'm really excited. I've
Go
been
ahead,
really
tell it.
trying to keep it. Regina has given me the opportunity to have my own talk show here, starting next month.
Yes.
And it's actually a dream come true. For a little Mississippi boy, you know, to have something like that, you know, reach the whole wide world, you know. And so I'm just really excited about it. It's called Out of the Norm. Out of the Norm. It's because we're going to talk about issues that people don't want to normally talk about. You know, I'm also a former pastor, so church issues are really real with me, you know, and I just believe in, you know, somehow or another there's just got to be not church as usual. We've got to use, I always say the message can remain the same. Yeah. The mission can remain the same, but the methods can change from day to day.
Yes.
You know, and we have to learn to be adaptable in order to reach people, you know, because some of the old things we used to do, they're just not getting our young people, not really even getting some of the older people, you know. But anyway, it's just that, and also, also have written gospel music, gospel plays. I've done gospel music workshops as well, and I have a son who's a minister of music, and actually he's up for some awards in Mississippi. I just received word of that yesterday, so y'all gonna vote for him. I'll tell you about it later. But anyway, but the talk show is just gonna really be something that I wanted to do, but I didn't have a platform. And one day, you know, after she came to me and she was like, you know, well, there's something about you, and I was like, okay, well, I hope that's the anointing, you know. So so anyway, so we talked about it, and I'm just so excited about it. Still working on some platforms and stuff. She's going to be coaching me, you know, as we go along.
Yeah,
but I'm just excited. You know, God is doing some great things, amazing things in my life. I was telling him I'm a father of 7. I have 5 girls and 2 boys, 23 grandkids, and I'm a 24. Be here in September.
Yeah.
And
got a farm to keep.
yeah, man. So you know I'm a praying man, right? Yeah, but I just love people. I love God's people, man. And I just want to keep people inspired. I love to hear the brother talk about the positivity. You know, there's so much negativity going on in the world today. You know, it's just good to hear something positive every once in a while. You know, just make you feel good. I always tell my clients at work, you know, at the end of it, I tell them, I said, just want you to clap your hand. They clap 1. I said, clap 3 times. 3. Clap it about 5, 6 times. I said, I want you to clap it like you just received an award. And they like doing it. I said, okay, well, every morning you need to get up and do that when you get up. Because you have made it. You have succeeded. You got up and you got another chance to get it right. You know.
That's That's what's
Excited.
up.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I always say that, you know, people being here on the same day is a divine appointment because when we started planning the first show, I didn't have a topic or anything. And it just so happens that everyone is here is somehow work in music or dealing with music. We started the show, talk about the power of music. See how it all happens without us. He's always orchestrating things. So, Michael, I'm going to let you lead off. I don't know what's on your heart. One thing about Boss, we do allow the Holy Spirit to move in this space and have the conversations that just come up and say, I know you got a lot going on, especially when we're talking about, you know, impacting our young people. And we have people here that have worked in different areas of music. What are your thoughts or questions when it comes to our young people and how we can use music as a part of that change that you're talking about?
Music, for me, brothers, it's always been one of those things where I consistently said over the past few years that there's going to come a shift in music, right? And the shift in music is going to be a shift where everything will sound exactly the way it sounds right now, but it'll come from a different space spiritually, right? A different space spiritually in a sense where when it touches the vibrations, the heartstrings of people, it touches them in a way that they could feel it and really, really be able to move forward and do something with it, right? And so when I heard you speak about the commitment to only doing positive music, only doing positive plays, only doing positive screenplays and things of that nature, it's like, wow, because I'm sitting here, I'm listening to, you got an artist named DeResta Sean, right? That's out right now. And he's producing some of that content that I just mentioned. But I've never met somebody that decided to create a whole label and their focus be solely on just that. So I commend you on that because we need it as a nation of people, you know, not just as a race of people, but as not even a nation, a body of people, you know, because that comes into a place of real substance, you know. Like I used to do, I do life coaching, and one of my biggest clients on the life coaching side was Charlie Jabley, who manages 2 Chainz, right? And so you look at Charlie's career now, like he shifted everything from focusing on business to focusing on transforming lives and utilizing his platform, his story to transform people. And so you see somebody utilizing what he gained in music to be able to put him on a pedestal in a different space, right? And to be able to say, okay, cool, I was 300 pounds, then I lost 120 pounds. You know, I used to want to do an Ironman, then I did an Ironman, right? To be to creating this whole dream machine. He's traveling from California to New York and being able to use his platform to impact people. But it all started from a foundation of music. You know? And so my question for you, and then we're going to bounce over here because I got some solid things for you, man. But my question for you is, everybody often talks about what you see when it comes to music and what you see when it comes to the media that's not positive. All the things that happen behind the scenes that some people don't know about, but a lot of people know what's going on. Like, what was it that happened in your career that made you want to tunnel vision focus on nothing but the positive angle?
I was in a group, Brothers of the Same Mind, and we broke up. And I dipped into severe depression. I mean, you got to imagine jumping in and out of limos, having your name in lights, to being nobody.
Yeah.
So I took that like, wow, man. And I was going down. And if anyone went through depression, you close the shades. You don't want to talk to anybody. Stomach started hanging out. I was drinking 40s. And I was just going down. But there was a show I did with DJ Quick. It was the last show. And we did a great show in Portland. But when we got to Seattle, I'm not going to say any names, but someone decided to mess up our set.
Right.
And it was horrible. And I asked, what does that guy do that messed up our sound?
Right.
They say he's an audio engineer. So that Monday, I signed up to become, to go to school. But that week, we were in contract negotiations, and the group broke up. So I went through that depression, but I was in school. And then one of the guys, it was a white guy, said, you know what? You need to go fishing. And another friend was like, yeah, man, you got your reel out there. And I was like, fishing. So I sat down while they were talking, and I wrote a song called Fishing. That song flipped me to the acid jazz movement, which took off in Europe. So then my record started selling. And then people started wanting to hear the acid jazz. So I moved away from the negative. You know, we were always doing positive music, but gangster rap started to get big. So I moved towards the positive side through trying to uplift myself because I wrote Free Your Mind, Fishing. I started writing songs to inspire myself.
Yeah.
And so many people were listening to it and wanting to buy it. Like right now, Fishing is selling for 180 pounds in London online. And it was like people wanted to hear that, and it's now rare. And I said, you know what? I have this artist named Andito who does spoken words, and there's no platform. And, well, who's going to buy a spoken words record? And then I was like, you know what? I would. If it was slamming, the music was slamming, it was positive, I would buy it. So I said, okay, well, ain't nobody going to take a risk. Let me do it. And then I just said, you know what? I listened to the radio. It was all negative. And if you do negative music, that's your thing.
Yeah.
I found my lane.
Yes.
My lane is positive music, meditational, whatever. You may have a different lane.
Right.
But I saw my lane. It's been helping me. It's been working for me, and I'm an ex-vet. I went through all kinds of stuff in the military. And I just said, you know what? This is my lane. Let me stay in that lane. It's going to work for me. I'll work with people who are in that lane. Yeah. I'm not putting down other people's music.
Yeah, facts.
There are people who need negative music.
Yeah.
And there are people who need positive music. And you might feel negative today and positive tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if you want something positive, here's what I got.
That's real.
You don't want it, go to somebody else.
It's exciting to me to hear people's story, right?
Yeah.
Because when you see people that are doing phenomenal and noteworthy things, like there's always a spot in their journey where God had to break them and shake them up a little bit and put them in a space where they were in a spot of total submission. Like you call it depression. But one of the things that I notice is when people get into that space or spaces like it, they're in total submission because like you're at the bottom, rock bottom, and the only place you can go from there is up. But in order to go up, you got to ask the question, God, what is it that you want me to do?
Absolutely.
And when you ask that question, God, what is it that you want me to do? Then He's able to show us what was already right there in front of us.
Right.
Like music, movies, stage plays, all of that was already in you.
Right.
But we felt like it was in us the way that everybody else was doing it in the world,
Absolutely.
Well, let me interject. I was homeless twice.
Okay.
What happens, my mom went through a nervous breakdown when I was 16, and I was completely homeless.
Yeah.
And my nerves was shattered. I stayed with my aunt, and my nerves were shattered. And the only thing that got me to sleep was a Earl Clue record and Love Bug Starsky, You Gotta Believe.
Yeah.
And when I heard that record, that's when I dedicated myself to hip-hop.
Right.
And I said, this is where I'm going.
Yeah.
Now, I was rapping the whole time, but that I had to have something to take my mind off of what was going on in my life at that time.
Facts.
But when I went to LA, I ended up homeless again.
Right.
But this time, I said, you know what? I'm not going to be defeated by this. I'm going to pick myself up, and I ended up getting 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Went to college, to Cal State Northridge, and got a degree in filmmaking. And I started shooting movies. And I built myself up back to, okay, I could do this. I could do this, And it gets to a point where now you say, okay, this is where I'm at. I don't want to take over the whole show, but I'm telling you, you have to build yourself up.
No, that's real.
I love the church. The church is fantastic. You need the spiritual background. At the same time, you need to pick yourself up with that.
That's real.
The minister's job is not to pick you up and bring you in to the next spot. You got to get up.
Yes.
That's real.
You got to get up.
My uncle said it best. Like I was out in Virginia at his house one time, and he was like, nephew, you want something to eat? I was like, no, I'm good. And he was like, it's crazy when a poor dog won't even wag his own tail, right? And so I'm like, oh, what you mean? Like, I'm not hungry. He's like, boy, if you want to eat, you're going to have to ask for it, right? And so I'm saying that to the point of what you just mentioned. Like, that idea of you're gonna have to do it yourself. Like God said, faith without works is dead. Right? So you got to have faith, but you got to put in the work at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like that concept saved my life in 2017 when we was in the water. And one of my friends, we went to go see, we went to a cabin trip, and we came back. We went to a waterfall, stopped at a waterfall. My friend drowned in the water and died. I drowned in the water, but I was able to come back because I heard my uncle in the back of my head say some strategic things. I heard some other things happen that said, okay, cool, you can't just sit here and just have faith that somebody gonna find you, right? Somebody gonna see you. You're gonna have to put in some work to make sure you get to where you need to be. So that is a true statement. And I feel like in religion, that's where a lot of people get caught up because it's like, I'm just gonna wait on God.
Right.
You know, it's like, no, wait and work, pray and work, meditate and work, you know, focus and work.
Right.
Like, put all that in. So that's big, bro. And so I'm excited about you for real.
Yeah.
Like over here, man, you were speaking, and there's a plug that we gotta make immediately after this, right? On the 9th and the 10th at the Andrew and Walter Young YMCA, the Thomas Dortch III. Thomas Dortch Jr. is the president of the 100 Black Men Foundation here in the city of Atlanta, right? Which is a nationwide situation. Thomas Dortch III, his son, is doing exactly what you do in relationship to mentoring people in regards to resume building, anything that they need to know in relationship to getting a job, doing the student tie situation, you know, and they're partnering with BB&T and UPS. And then we're turning around, and next week we're gonna have Amazon come to the YMCA. We're gonna have UPS come to the YMCA, and I believe FedEx is plugging in too. And they're doing 3 big job fairs for the community, right? And so anyway, like I just want to be the connect on that. And whatever y'all do from there, you know, is what y'all do from there. But I know those are two, what you mentioned and what they're doing. You put them together, and something phenomenal is gonna come out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I greatly appreciate that, man. If I could
Go
just
ahead.
for a second. And so much of what both you guys are saying just kind of registered in my mind. But I wrote a book called To Me, From Me, with Love Always. And it's a book about learning to love yourself. And as a pastor, you know, I would use the scripture with Matthew 22, you know, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and love thy might. And the second is likened unto it, that you love thy neighbor as thyself. So we get this concept of, okay, love God, love your neighbor, and love yourself. Okay? Well, that's not really the order that is. Because he said, you know, love thy neighbor as thyself. So that means you're comparing how you love others to what's already there. So you've got to already be loving yourself before you can love somebody else. Because you can't give something that you don't have. You know, and so I wrote that book because I was telling him I had gone through this change where I went through a divorce after 21 years of marriage. And, you know, and then, of course, being a pastor and everything, you know, you get all the criticism. The deacons come at you if you can't rule the house of God, can't rule your own, can't rule, you know, whatever. So, and it was a horrendous experience, to say the least. I went into depression, had my 3rd suicide attempt. Was just a mess, you know, not being able to see my children every day, you know, the courts, which is going to be another talk show issue about child support and how dads are given the raw treatment in the system or whatever, long story short. But I was able to, by God's grace, you know, pull myself up from that and learn to love me and learn to take care of me. You know, I was telling him, I'm 55 years old, man. I'll be 56 in October, okay?
October what?
October 22nd.
Oh, man, I'm October 10th.
Okay, we got to get together. All right? Well, I love to celebrate. I do a good party.
My baby, she's October 1st.
Okay, well, see, October babies. Coming now to here. But, you know, I celebrate life. You know, Oprah said, you know, celebrate life because you have life to celebrate. You know, and I do that, man. I'm very active. When I get at work, when I'm doing workshops or whatever, this energy that I'm feeling, that same energy is there. You know, this is not, what you see is what you get. Yeah, I'm not the shirt and tie guy all the time. You know, when I go and minister for, I turn my cap around back, I put my jeans on. I'm not sagging, but I put my jeans on.
You ain't sagging.
Yeah, you know, I ain't doing all that. Okay, you know. But I'm literally out of the norm. It's not church as usual with me. You know, I'm the clergy collar. I haven't put my clergy collar on in so long. You know, I mean, because I don't want to be ritualistic. You know, I want to reach people where they are. And I'm not going to be able to approach certain people with a clergy collar on. And I always tell people, be real with me. You know, I mean, there are some people when they talk, they're full of profanity and whatever have you. You know, am I so shallow in my faith in Christ that I can't heal somebody else? You know, you see what I'm saying? You know, so we have to get out of where we've been.
Right.
You know, do something to get something you've never had. You got to do something that you've never done.
Right.
You watch, you look at Jesus and the way he moved back in the day, right?
Yes.
He was outside of the four walls.
Always.
He went into the four walls to commune with the people, right? But the people in the four walls. But his work, the things that we know him for, was in these streets. And so when you talk about doing things unorthodox in relationship to religion, that's how it has to happen in every shape, way, form, or fashion. Because like you mentioned, you're not going to get everybody into that church. Like my generation. My generation, we're running from the church because our parents forced us to go to church.
But you know, one of the problems is, though, and I tell people all the time, this is a cliche I use, Jesus Christ called us to be fishermen of men.
That's it.
He told us to catch them. Yeah. But it's the Holy Ghost's job to clean them.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
You know, I mean, my dad and mom used to fish and they come home and have to
like
the fish and
cleaning
whatever. But all we have to do is let that light shine, man, you know, that they may see our good works. You know, we're the bait. You know, and you know, Jesus Christ catch them and you get that word in them, they'll change. You know?
Yeah, but you got to first realize that you are that light.
You got to
first realize you are that light and be willing to let your light shine.
Yeah.
So many of us understand that we have a bulb, but we're not willing to turn it up. And when we turn it up, we're willing to put it on dim just to make sure that the people around us are comfortable.
But we're trying to make it shine with the outward man and not the inward man.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna pause because our third guest is here, and he's in the background. So we're gonna take a mini break. It's not even a break. You guys are still gonna be able to see us live. We're gonna get JJ Day on the set. Welcome to the show, JJ Day.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. Come on around, bro.
Oh, we in the break. We in the break.
Yeah,
Move over. He can add a chair.
Just don't fall on the floor,
Hey, bro,
brother.
I'm trying to tell you.
You good?
I'm chill right here. Oh, right here, boss? Cool.
Matter of fact, I didn't talk, so, I mean.
Yeah, most definitely.
I'm a fan. I'm sorry. I was such a fan.
I do a lot of different things. I got a lot of different, I guess, blessings that I'm kind of growing into with my songwriting, which is turning into scripts and also, you know, stories. So I'm kind of growing into my blessings still. I'm still a baby and a lot of my gifts.
I love humility.
Yeah, I love the fact that you sing so many different genres of music. I mean, because people who've never had the JJ Day experience, you get up there and they expect one thing, right? And then you sing a little blues, you do a little hip hop, you might throw a little country on you. I mean, a little bit of everything.
I appreciate it. Well, we ain't got time to talk about my evolution of genres here, but it's just I've never pushed the genre off to the side. I mean, obviously, growing up in my culture, I grew up with the R&B, the rap when rap was Busta Rhymes and all of those cats, and you know everything's changed. But I never threw anything off. Gospel. I grew up in the church, so I mean every sound I took, I kept it with me. And you know, as you grow into different music. And a lot of people they let whatever they grew up in, they let it slide off to the side. I never really did that. It all stayed with me. I was a wrestler throughout high school.
A very successful.
I was pretty decent. But even through that, I was introduced to little metal music and stuff like that. And once again, I never was like, oh, nah, that's not in my culture, you know, and I say that because that's a lot of times what we do. That's not in my culture, so it's not cool, you know. And I refuse to do that. I love to be open-minded to different sounds and different wavelengths. And I mean, I got here through just music, and I picked up the guitar because of wrestling. I was super competitive. It was almost unhealthy. Needed something to calm me down. I picked up the guitar and started strumming at it. My roommate had one, and he finally caught me playing it one day and told me it was out of tune. He tuned it for me, and the rest was history. I just taught myself how to play and taught myself how to groove. And next thing you know, I was teaching myself how to write. And after that, I was teaching myself how to sing. And after that, I was teaching myself how to rap. And after that, people wanted to hear me do it more.
Yes. You know? Well, I first saw you at Coffee Underground in Greenville, South Carolina, and I was like, who is this? And you know, and everybody knew the words to your songs, and I didn't know them. I felt left out, and then I, of course, learned the words so I could join in. But it's been so great to have you in Atlanta now.
Oh yeah.
And I have to say this, Gabriel, get that boy something to drink.
Please.
I think he's thirsty. Yes, I think that's what's going on. Y'all can hear my grandson in the background. It's a family show, family spot. But what you gonna sing for us today? Because I kind of want you to sing like right now, and then we can finish the conversation after the song. Cause you sent me something, but I had a request.
Oh my. What was your request?
Rain.
Oh. Okay. All right. Okay.
Can you do that for us? Do you need time to like do some sound check or anything? Or?
I might have to tune my guitar up a little bit. I didn't know what I was gonna be falling into, but that's about it. I mean,
how long would that take you? How long would
I might just be able to get it and just go in at it.
That sounds good. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. JJ's going to get his guitar.
I'm going to get my guitar, y'all.
And if y'all not already a fan, you're going to be a fan. Here, live with Regina Sunshine, living like a boss.
You want me to stay or?
Yeah, you're going to stay. No, stay. You can get a chair. I mean, no. We're going to get him a chair on the end so he'll have room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Yeah, we're good.
I did like this mic sound better, but I'm still getting that feedback. And I'm thinking it's because of the signal. It's a constant buzz. So that's feedback. And this wasn't going on. I've tested this in the house too.
And you know, and then too, you know, I think the church is
I don't know, it's got to be something extra.
Yeah, and they don't trust them. And now you want to try to get them back. They be like, man.
Are you ready already?
Yeah, I know he was either hungry or thirsty. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, hungry or thirsty?
He wanted to hear what everybody was talking about. He wanted to hear what the
So
sound
we're
was.
going to put you on a chair on the end. Everybody else come back in on the couch. Are you going to do, I mean, actually you could do black denim. Oh my goodness. I'm just, whatever you want to do, we're ready. You ready? All right, Gabriel, you got a request?
Sure. I'll
Yeah, just put it right in front of the plant stand. Push the plant stand back. Yeah, push it back. That works.
Go ahead.
Gabriel, make sure JJ is on your camera. He's out? No. We can just bring him in. When he sits down, will he be in? That better?
Am I in there?
Well, I'm going to bring us officially back in. All right. You ready, Royce? All right, you guys, you know, we got a real informal thing going on here, which I'm loving, the energy. But if you've never heard him before, you're going to be a fan. This is one of my favorite independent artists. Welcome live on the Regina Sunshine Global Network, JJ Day.
Thank you. We are here today. Gathered here. One accord.
Oh, yes.
So this song she's asking for is called Rain, and don't get it confused. It's REIGN, and I made it at a time when I was in a place that I needed to come up out of, and a lot of times, like y'all was talking about, you got to get yourself out of it, and it was along the lines of when a lot of the killings were going on, and you know, I work. Ain't no way I can go out there and pick it and be out there with my brothers and my sisters like I want to. So I use my gift, you know, to display my feelings. This is my first blues song I ever wrote. They see the smoke come from my eyes. They see the fire from my nose. Telling stories that's untold. Must be the liquor in my soul. dancing with the devil in the light of the moon. I'm about to take over the coast, so watch me do what I do. Oh, there's a storm coming, and there's no shelter from the rain.
Rain, rain, rain.
There's a storm coming.
Yeah, I gotta join this time.
There's no shelter from the rain.
Rain, rain, rain.
See, they capture Father's time. Been in bed with Mother Nature. That means they got all our time. Whisper in our ear about the grind. Say there's nothing you can do, nothing you can do to stop me. Ooh. All you can do is watch me, yeah. There's a storm coming, and there's no shelter from the rain.
Rain, rain,
There's a storm coming, and there's no shelter from the rain.
rain, rain, rain.
There's nothing you can do to stop me. You gon' get this work. You gon' get this work. No, no. There's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do to stop me. Yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause we will be kings. We will be queens. And there's nothing you can do to stop us. No, 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 no. You gon' get this work. You gon' get this work. You gon' get this work. There's a storm coming, and there's no shelter from the rain. There's a storm coming, and there's no shelter from the rain. There ain't no shelter from this rain. Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, yeah. There's a storm coming, and there's no shelter from the rain. Rain, rain, rain. I appreciate that. That's I guess that's an emotional one for me. And I apologize. It'll be my 4th show this week, so I'm a little bit on the horse side, but I just love doing this, man. I love presenting that piece, because even if you don't hear the words, you feel what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
You feel where I'm coming from, and that whole piece, that piece was written about written about a woman at first, and it was written in more of a provocative way. You know, you see the fire in her eyes, you see the smoke come from her nose. All I could see was this sexy girl dancing, and God said, nah, that's not what I want. And he just had me change just a couple words. They see the fire in our eyes.
Yeah.
They see the smoke come from our nose. Just talking about different scenes and how people see us sometimes, and how people see us as a threat. You know, and you know, even the second verse, you know, they capture Father's time. You know, they've been in bed with Mother Nature. You know, you're talking about just how they've captured our time and our culture and really set us back to where we're still fighting to get ahead, or fighting to get equal to where we're supposed to be anyways. And you talk about Mother Nature and how they stole a lot of our kids and the minds of our kids. And you know, it's just, and like I said, that all started out as just a provocative piece. I was like, this blues, I could see this girl in the silhouette, she dancing side to side. And man, I was just riding down the road and I was thinking about the piece. And he said, no, change this word, change this word, change this word. And that's what it just, I remember bawling, like I was crying. Like I had to call my sister, like, listen to this. Because a lot of times you become a vessel and you don't realize it. Like and you start getting a message that you didn't realize you was speaking. You know, and it's so good. It's so good to be able to sit and just learn. You know, learn in peace. A lot of people don't know how to learn in peace. Just learn by yourself. And a lot of times you're not by yourself. You know, sometimes you got to put those words out there. I tell people all the time, don't just think about the words. Say it. Say it. You know, so that piece was just one of those pieces, man. That's one of my babies right there. I love performing that. So I appreciate you letting me do that.
Oh, you know. The other piece would have been, you my other favorite one. That's over there.
Yeah, most definitely. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you for joining in too. Appreciate that.
But you needed your pips, right?
I was in there. I was in there too. Y'all called as soon as she did it. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking, I guess, before you came, just about even Michael started off the show talking about how powerful music is and its ability to change the atmosphere. What is it like for you? Because I've been in a room with you when, people are doing this or that, and then you get on the stage, you take the stage, and everybody stops. To be able to impact people like that.
That is, it's taking some getting used to. It's taking a lot of responsibility to notice that it is a responsibility to be able to use that type of feel or vibe and for good. But it's not something, I don't know how the stars get used to it. I think a lot of them, it's not even about getting used to it. It's about wearing it more, and when they go out there, being more confident in it. And I think that's what I've developed as the years went on. I've become more confident. Like, I already know. Like, I already know what's going on. Y'all trying to figure it out. I already know. And I display that in the way I play, the way I speak to people, the way I talk. So you don't see a nervous bone in my body. You like, oh, this is what he does.
Oh yeah, this is what you do.
This is what he does. And so like, and it's funny that you asked that, because the past couple of times, even I've learned that it's starting to grow, even outside of being on the stage. Like, I've had people come up to me and it's like, yo, when you walked into this photo shoot, like, the whole vibe just shifted. When you walked in here, the whole vibe just shifted. And I just think it's just growing, and I'm becoming the man that I wanted to be, you know. And I'm still a young man. There's levels to this. A lot of us young boys or young men don't know that, but there's levels to becoming a man. And so I'm still a young man, and I'm still fighting for self-control, fighting for space, fighting for my own way and my own path, So, yeah, I'm getting used to it. To answer your question, I'm still getting used to it.
You're wearing it well. I have to say that. I remember, because I've seen the growth, of JJ Day. I remember the JJ Day.
Oh yeah.
Back in South Carolina, and just seeing, even not as the personal man has grown, how the music has grown and elevated as well. Because I couldn't have ever seen you doing a song like Rain back in those days.
Most definitely. There's a lot of songs I couldn't have seen myself doing, to be honest. I mean, from Shout Out to Me, never. I mean, you remember, Shout Out to Me. That came just out of complete just competition, and just everything I do has a message, and it's always a positive message. I heard y'all talk. What's your name?
Collins. Norman.
Mr. Norman was talking about it earlier. He was talking about, sometimes you gotta be yourself. You ain't gotta be all dressed up to go. Sometimes, hey, I tell people all the time, religion might take this wrong sometimes, but God fights fire with fire too. He don't always send the most religious person, the most high anointed, the one that knows all the scriptures to that hood over there. He don't always send that person. And and I really feel like that in me. I grew up in church, But the music I do, there's all types of music you can do. There's always a type of way you can show positive vibe. And the thing is, there's always a way to get some people mind aren't ready to just step in religion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some people got to open themselves up to positivity before they can even accept.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's my job to bridge that gap with messages like Rain, messages like shout out to me, messages like be the wave. You know, be unique, be yourself. Don't try to follow everybody. Shout out to me. Give yourself props, self-esteem. You know, like I'm constantly building people up. You know, so that's my whole thing. I feel like I'm the fire. You know, I'm and nothing against nobody that does. I've put myself on the path. I've never drank. I've never smoked. I've never been a part of that, the whole party life. But I've been in it to where people are like, hey, you JJ Day, you know, you want to drink? Oh, no, I'm good. Oh, you gonna judge? No, I ain't judging y'all. I'm just here to have a good time, enjoy people, conversate with people, and that's my goal. That's my thing. I want to be able to fit in anywhere and just enjoy myself and have people enjoy me. I mean, where their convictions take them is their own personal. That's their own personal problems, you know. So I mean, and but yeah, I don't want to talk too much.
My question, bro, like I look at you and I feel your energy, and it's very humble, right? But and it's a personal question. You can answer it if you want to. If you don't have to, if you don't want to. You know. But one thing that I noticed throughout life with a lot of people, there's a certain level of humiliation that people go through to reach a certain level of humility, right? So what was it that you had to go through on a humiliation side that helped you get to the place that you are now? Because when you hear Regina talk about this ain't the JJ Day that I remember from such and such, I know me, I'm in the corner like, who was JJ Day before? I'm looking at him, it's like it's a dynamic brother, like the words, like everything is like, it's coming from a higher place. Like what was that humiliation point?
Well, I think what Miss Regina is speaking of when she speaks about that ain't the same JJ Day, I think she's talking about just the growth in my music, the growth in my lyrics, more than who I used to be or what I used to be. But I still can answer your question. I've always had this bit of a gift, and some people call it a dream, I call it a nightmare. I've always gotten to the point to where I was really, really, really good. I was great at something, but I wasn't first place. I always got to the point to where I couldn't cross that threshold. Like, for example, I was pretty good. I was a pretty good wrestler. Going into my high school year, I was supposed to be their first four-timer. I only won it one time. You know, I got to college. I was supposed to be their first national champion. I was a three-time All-American. I got to the next level, the Olympic level. I was fourth on the Olympic ladder. Never quite got there. And that just forever, I mean, even to this day as we speak, that just, it's at that point to me to where I'm humiliated every time I think about it. I'm like, every time. And I give you that right now, but it's way more than that. It's way more than that. Like when you, even with this music thing, it's always like this cloud over my head. Like, you're great. You've been doing this for 8-9 years now. You're great. Everybody tells you you're great. Everybody tells you you're awesome. Everybody tells you you should be here, you should be there. But you're not, though. You're not there.
That voice.
You know? Yeah. It's that, and that's what it is. It's that voice. You're not there. You're not there. You're gonna do the same thing you did in everything. I'm just gonna let you be great enough to where you get so tortured by the fact that you can't cross over to that. You can't cross over to that Grammy. You're gonna be able to see it, but you can't cross over to it. You know, so that's what's kept me so humble. Like I never talk over nobody, say I'm better than nobody, and I'm always striving to be a better me. And that's where the young man in me is. Like I'm like I will, and I get so angry with myself when I don't do certain things right. I mean, we're all critics of ourselves, but to answer your question, man, that's where my humiliation lies, and not being able to accomplish the bigger goals that I set out for myself. The four-timer, the national champion, the Olympic ladder, where you are now.
So
You're just great.
What are you doing now to make sure that this isn't that same history repeating itself type of situation?
Touching road. I touch road. Opportunities, I'm there. Yeah. You know, I don't slack on opportunities. I work hard. I'm a hard worker. I got off the road from South Carolina. From Columbia, I had a show down there for Queen Sheba. It was a hip hop versus poetry.
Oh, I love that.
There.
It's a dope show.
Went down there. It was a dope show. Crowd was dope. We had so much fun. I got out of there at 10:45. You know, I work in Jasper.
Okay.
I work in Jasper. I live in Kennesaw, Canton, but I work for Coca-Cola. That's a 4:30 job.
Yeah.
You know, I get on the road.
Right.
I'm back to work, and I've been doing that. That's just it's natural to me now. Like, it's what I do. You know, I mean, you gotta want it. You know, more than you sleep, want it more than you eat, and it's just. I think at the end of the day, it's all about putting the right people around you, and I've been very picky about who I put around me, and the people that, like Miss Regina, the people that I've put around me has just been. It's been beautiful, and I'm gonna win. It's all about timing.
Right.
You know, it's all about timing. I set out a goal to be in Atlanta last year. I said I was gonna be in Atlanta by the end of the year. I need to go somewhere.
Right.
I've become too big for where I'm at. I need to swim for something bigger.
Right.
You know, and so I had my choices, and I chose Atlanta. I knew more people. My relationships were there, and I went. This year my goal is to be out of a Coke uniform.
Okay.
By the end of the year, be doing music full time. You know, so it's just. To answer that question, just setting goals, just setting realistic goals and obtaining them one at a time, and not focused on Grammy. You gotta win a Grammy. You gotta win a Grammy tomorrow.
Is it safe to say that where you are right now in life, you're living more so in the present moment? Like, even though you got the goal and everything set, you're living more so in the present moment instead of focusing on what that big thing is?
Man, y'all all know the older you get, the more you want to do that. You want to live in that moment. You want to take every strain, every sale, every piece of time that you can get in that moment and really enjoy it. Even like this right here.
Right.
I got to enjoy this moment.
That's
you know,
right.
I got to be stuck in the moment.
That's
you know,
right.
I got to be stuck in the moment because they don't last forever.
That's right.
You know, so most definitely.
That's big, my brother. I know you got some class. I know you got something for him. Cause he didn't get a chance, opportunity to. JJ didn't get an opportunity to hear exactly who you are, what you do, the whole nine. So, yeah.
Well, music and film. I was in the Source 3 times. Toured with everybody from Ice Cube, Run DMC, DJ Quick. I had my name in lights. Did all of that. And that personal fight, you're not good enough. And then you know, A&R. We put a record out called A&R. Where the A&R department viewed our tape and just dissed the whole thing, and it was like, put your own self out. Why are you waiting on the label? Put your own self out. You know, the Grammy, okay, there are people who pay for a Grammy. Let's just call it what it is. Right. I was there. I lived in Hollywood. There are people who pay for a Grammy or kiss up to somebody to get a Grammy. Do you? And that right there is the hardest thing to do, is to face yourself in the mirror and say, what am I going to do? Yes, God, the church, and God's waiting on you. Like, so what you gonna do? But then that thing, that voice, you could either use that voice to push you or to bring you down. And sometimes you got to go down to come up, because after a while you be like, you always talking. Why don't you shut up? And then get up and do your thing.
It's so funny that you said that, because one thing I've learned about the voice, how I've tuned out that voice, is I just feel like it's so much harder to prove people right than it is to prove people wrong. I got so many people counting on me, so whenever that voice, you can't do this, you can't do that, it ain't even you I'm worried about.
Right.
I'm worried about the people that actually believe in me.
Right.
You know, the people that actually believe in me is the ones I'm trying to prove right. The ones that share my music, the ones that say, that dude, the real deal. That dude is gonna be here. That dude is gonna do this. You know, those are the people I'm worried about. You know, I'm trying not to let people down. I ain't trying to worry about what you say I'm not gonna be able to do. I'm trying to worry about what people saying I'm gonna do. You know?
Your perspective, perspective is everything. That's dope.
Well, I think we're out of time, but what I want to do as we close out the show is give each of you a chance, number one, to tell everyone about your social media, and if there's a word of encouragement for someone who is in maybe some of those dark places that all of you have talked about, you know, some practical things they can do in their life to help them to begin to rise up above that. And I do, once I say my spiel at the end, want you to close out with shout out to me.
I
want you to do that for real, for real. All right, we'll start with Dr. Collins.
Oh, okay. I'm just enjoying everybody. Caught up. Well, I have a website, www.IamNormanCollins.com. RSGN.com. There you can purchase my book, To Me, From Me, With Love Always. I'm in the process of writing a second book called Get Your Life. And we're going to be having a Get Your Life conference in October. And also I have, I think my Twitter account, I'm sorry, I got to say, I think, is Dr. Collins 14. And my Instagram account is Dr. Collins 06. And my Cash App, no, I'm sorry. Hey, I'll spend the cards in office. But, yeah, you can reach me there. And if I just wanted to just give some encouragement, and I know it's as simple as it is, but learn to love yourself. And loving yourself means taking care of yourself. Take some time away from everybody and everything, and as you said, do you.
Right.
You know, do something for you so you can make this moment count. Okay, don't let this memory pass you by. You know, when I leave here, I'm going home. My son, his kids came, and we're going to the movies. You know, his wife is a police officer, so she gets 4 free tickets. So I'm going.
That's insane.
I'm going to the movies.
That's right.
But love yourself. Stop and take some time. Go get your nails done. Get that manicure, man. You know, a lot of us guys, we don't want to take care of our toes. Boy, them Asian women can do some things with your feet. I'm just saying, you know, take care of yourself, you know, go and, you know, I got me the little new do. I got the little mohawk, you know, but that's because my grandmother was Cherokee. That's what I tell everybody. But I feel good. I feel good, man. I mean, if I had known 55 felt like this when I was like 25, I would have tried to rush it, you know. But life is good, man. Love yourself. Enjoy every moment of it like it's your last time.
That's real.
Awesome. Sounds good, class.
I'm going to give a shout out to Scott Wendell. He died last week, 2 weeks ago, and we had a funeral. And in his funeral, there was so many people that talked about how he touched their lives. He didn't talk about how sick he was because nobody knew. But what I learned, this is my thing. First of all, creative visualization. You need to see what you want on the wall every single day of the week. And then goal setting. You need to set goals for yourself. And if you don't hit that goal, move it to the next month. And then keep moving it and keep moving it. That's what I've been doing. That's how I bought all my equipment. That's how I came up. But in terms of me and myself, I look myself in the mirror and say, what do you want to do? And how do you want to make a difference in the world? And then I work on me. So in other words, here's the best example. Write your will now and work your way backwards. What do you want people to say about you when you leave this earth? You write it down on a piece of paper and work backwards, and you will hit your goal.
I love that. Awesome. JJ Day.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and reiterate so everybody know what this is about as far as like the darkness, as far as self-esteem. Everything is talking about self. But before that, you can find me at IamJJDay.com. My Instagram is JJ_DAE. I'm Googleable. So you can Google me, JJ Day. My new single will be coming out at the end of June called Be the Wave. Make sure y'all go find me. I'll be sending it out through emails. It'll be a free download, but it will come with keychains that you will be able to purchase. You know what I mean? You got to. You gotta get something out of it. Keychains will be dope.
That's where the Cash App come in.
And you will be the wave.
Say Mountain Real, hiphopsdamagecontrol.com, Google, Delano Baychester, you got it.
All of that.
Awesome. Michael Supreme, how's it feel being back on the Boss Show?
Man, it's phenomenal. Like I tell people all the time, you got to stay close to the fire, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you're going through anything in life, you get close to that fire, man, a lot of things start to shift. Energy's different, like being in the new space, you know, like that energy of being in a new space is totally different. Like you feel growth. Like I can sit here and literally sitting where we're sitting right now, I can see all of these chairs filled up behind us, you know? Like people really sitting and wanting to engage in these type of activities where they're able to see boss men doing what boss men do, having conversation about boss-ish. You know? And then it not being...
is that a new brand? I'll get that. That's
I'm about to copyright it. I want my percentage, you know. I want my percentage. But no, it's just one of them things, man. You don't really get an opportunity to really hear brothers talk about things the way we talk about it on the Boss Show.
That's right.
Where it's like, regardless of what we're talking about, we could talk about, regardless of what we're talking about, it always comes back to a spiritual place in some shape, way, form, or fashion. And to be able to see solid brothers speaking about that is a game changer in a lot of ways, man. So I'm just excited about the elevation of the Boss Show. Like, for real, for real. And everybody that's watching, man, if y'all don't know where y'all can follow me at, it's at King Michael Supreme on Instagram. We keep it solo focused on one channel right now, at King Michael Supreme on Instagram. And I want y'all all to plug in tomorrow night, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. We're going to be at the Andrew and Walter Young YMCA for that community forum, y'all, engaging about the violence that's going on in the community, the robberies that's going on in the community, like all of the things that are going on that are negative. We're conversing about how to shift that, and then immediately after that, we're going straight into the action play to really create the change that this world needs.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I thank you guys so much for tuning in. I leave you with the words I always leave for my boss men. I want you to remember this. You are a champion. You were born to win. You are more than a conqueror. You will achieve your dreams. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You are magnificent, beautiful, amazing men, and you are worthy of the best things in life. Make sure you guys are here next Monday, June the 11th, for the first ever Boss Awards live here at Regina Sunshine Global Network. We're going to have the Regina Sunshine set up in the back over there, so we'll be interviewing people live, you know, while we're doing the award show. We're going to have some of everybody here. When I tell you some of the dopest performers that I know in the world are going to be here, as well as some of the greatest men doing amazing things. I'm trying to think who I hadn't mentioned yet that's going to be here. Good friend of mine, Lamont Wright. You ever met Conscious from Greenwood? He's going to be here. He's one of our Boss Hall of Fame honorees. He's going to be in the building. You guys know, what's his name? The model, Brian Walker. He's going to be here. He's getting our fashion award. I thought you know all the people.
I'm new to
Listen. He models too now. Don't let him fool y'all. So that's what I was thinking. So Brian Walker will be here with some amazing men. So make sure you're here. Shout out to my sponsors, Terry Searcy with Studio T, Lanita Mitchell Blackwell with Bold Favorite Magazine. And I leave you with our boss motto. Remember this. We always say, our community needs our men, and our men need each other. Make sure you guys are here with us next week. Be blessed. Keep winning. Keep living like a boss. JJ Day.
Let's get it.
See, I'm grown without enough patience. Man, I should have done blown up. These people asking for their test while I'm out stacking my patience. Don't give this boy a hand. You best believe it's taking them out. If she's ever taking these interest, best believe she's gonna get it out. They say I rap like I already rap, with two chicks in the bad rap. All eyes when I step inside. I'm not that dude, just that guy. Guitar in the studio, might wear a chain to set the tone. Get a little tense when I'm in my zone. Girls hear loud, I love that song. So wake up in the morning, two girls putting on clothes. Never been the one taking by two beautiful girls. Man, never loving them was right. I don't ever want to be wrong. I want my money long, 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 long. So shout out to people that called it. Shout out to proving them right. Shout out to living this life. Shout out to people that grind all day. Shout out to people that party all night. Shout out to her. Shout out to her and her friend. But definitely keeping it tight. Man, we only live in the moment, but we definitely doing it right. So shout out to me.
Go ahead,
Yeah. Great show, you guys. Great show. Good show. Good stuff. That's it. I just wanted you to keep going. You know,
I didn't know.